Hello friends, it's Simone. I thought I'd share a December currently inked with you today. As you can see, I have a lot of pens inked and I don't feel bad about that at all. What I've been doing is picking a few of those, trying if they still work, and then putting them into my rickshaw pen case. Most of the time it's about 8 or so. And then I use them for a little while, and when I get sick of them or feel like I want to use one of the other pens that are still inked, I test them if they still write, and if they do, I swap them out and have another set of 8. I just don't really feel like uninking the pens that still write well, and so unless there is a time when I don't want to ink more pens, this is the way I have my pens currently inked. I don't know how to say that. So I have 20 pens. Luckily, they still all fit into this pen case. This is a Kako case that I purchased on Amazon. It is a 20 pen case. It has 2 of those flaps here that protect your pens. The elastic is quite stiff, but I feel it's less stiff than the one on the Galen leather pen case. And what I like about this more is that the teeth here aren't metal, but they're plastic, and so I feel like it's less likely that the metal teeth scratch my pens. So I am just I sorted them by a little bit into color families, color stuff. I seem to have problems talking, and I'm going to use my water brush to do the same thing as I did here, because I just really like how this looks. In November, I had 2, 4, 6, 8, 16 pens, and now there is 20. Of course, if you've watched November currently inked, if you've watched my October updates every week, you will find that several of the pens that I inked in October are still going strong. And as I said earlier, I see no reason why I shouldn't keep using them unless I feel sick of them, and I just don't. So if you remember, let me put this back here, my latest video, or one of my latest videos, I inked some pens, and I inked this Benu Ambrosia in Brown Orchid with KWC Smells Like Honey. And the reason why I did this is because I need a pencil board right there. For 2 reasons. I know that KWZ inks usually flow really well in pens. And so, because I've had flow issues with this pen basically ever since I started using it, I thought I would try this ink in this pen and see how I like this supposedly wet ink in here, because I have been considering selling, not selling the Benu Ambrosia. And so I'm giving it one last try with an ink that's supposedly wet. And it smells like coffee. That's the name. Benu Ambrosia Brown Orchid. With a medium nib. This is a steel nib, and KWC Smells Like Coffee. I really don't mind the smell of this ink at all, but I'm not really a fan of the color. The brown isn't the brown that I usually like. Yeah. Well, when it's dry, it looks okay, but for some reason, we'll see. we'll see how this is going to work out for me. I have a feeling that it's not going to make it. Then I cleaned out my Pelikan M800. I had previously inked, oh yeah, I said my because I actually purchased this now. This is part of my collection now. I cleaned out this Pelikan M800. It was inked with Waterman Tender Purple because I wanted to see how I like it with a different ink. It's still a wet ink. I think, did I clean this off? I don't think so. I think this pen needs to be looked at by a nibmeister. It has not hard starts, but well, maybe it is hard starts. Maybe it has baby's bottom. I'm not 100% sure how this is, what you would call this. This is the Pelikan M800 in blue stripe. This is basically a vintage model. It still has this gold knob here, and it is translucent. However, it's really hard to see anything. It has an 18 karat gold medium nib, and it is inked with, this is a D diamine, raspberry, rose. It sometimes it feels like it's drying out on me, or it like starves off the ink. So I would just want someone to take a look at it. The nib seems like it sits well on the feed. But it's, man, that medium nib is so lovely. I love using it, writing letters to friends. It's a great journal pen to where I don't have to, you know, adhere to any certain ruling or narrow grid. It's not good for that, for sure, but for expressive writing, it's awesome, and I love that. This is my custom Pilot Custom 823. I inked this in the very beginning of October. It's still going strong. It is inked with diamine deep dark purple. No, not deep dark purple, deep dark orange. And even though it is very similar to ancient copper, I really like the deep dark orange. I think there is enough of a difference. Pilot Custom 823 in amber with a medium. This is a 14 karat gold nib, diamine, deep dark orange. It's enough of a difference that I don't want to empty this out until it's written dry. So I had this in my pen case so I could give it a good run. Let me show you let me see if I can find it here. Deep dark orange, I think leans a little bit more red than this. Maybe it's not noticeable on camera, but on the Cosmo Airlight paper that I'm currently using for my ink journal in 2024, it looks different enough to maybe justify a bottle at one point. I have currently maybe this much left in my 30 milliliter bottle of ancient copper. So when that runs out, I might replace that ink with deep dark orange. The next one is one I just newly inked, and I think I did not choose a good color for this pen yet again. I don't know what it is, why I always feel like putting light inks into this pen when every time I use it with a light ink, I'm not really excited about it. And so I'm not sure how long this is going to stay inked for. But this is the Lamy 2000 in black Macrolon. With a medium 14 karat gold nib. I just recently swapped out the fine nib for a medium nib, and this is Sailor 50 States, Nevada. So again, this is one that I'm currently using in my rotation, just to see if I want to keep this inked with this pen, with this ink, or if I'm having to clean it out and find a different ink for that pen. I just don't know. I need to push up my journal a little bit more, so I need to make some space. On this paper, it looks good, but for some reason, I just don't vibe with this. And this is another one of those, love using this for letter writing because of the medium nib and the way it puts down the ink. So wet. This is a Wankai or Wansai. I don't know how to pronounce it. If you know, let me know. Mini. This is purple, transparent purple. I don't really know the color name. And I received this as a present in a Happy Mail from my friend Wendy Sue. I took out the nib and feed and put on this Pilot Parallel nib. I inked it with an amazing ink. And this is one of my favorite inks ever. This is Wearing Ghoul, a Star Spattered Hill. It is a shimmer ink. And I just love the color of the ink and the shimmer. It just looks so fabulous. And so I put that in here, and I'll just keep this inked until there's no more ink left. So this is a Wankai Mini in purple. I'll just say purple. And it has a 2.4 millimeter Pilot Parallel nib inside. And the ink is Wearing Ghoul, a Star Spattered Hill. I did purchase 2 more of these. This one is an old one and the other 2 are new ones. I decided that I will make a whole video about Pilot Parallels and what pens you can use them in. This is definitely one of those where I feel like I'm going to purchase more and more of those, more and more of the nibs, because it's so much fun to play with those. Again, these work so well in letters and just to play around. Like here, I did one of the titles with this. So next one. This one is one that I inked in October. It's gonna stay inked until the ink is dry. And I inked up this A Star Spattered Hill also to see how much difference. Where's the water brush? Oh, right over here. No. Let's put this to the side and use a different card. This is just a tiny bit more brown than the other one. And I also feel like it's a little drier, but also this Pilot Parallel puts down so much more ink than this Waterman Corinne in blue with a fine 18 karat gold inlaid nib. If you've been watching my videos for a while, this is a Waterman Corinne blue with a fine nib, and this ink is Wearing Ghoul, Kyung Hui. I received a sample of this and it's amazing. I have not found a place where I can buy it, and I just wanted to see how much different these two are. This one is a tad bit browner. I just mentioned that if you've watched my videos previously, I was debating selling this, but I wrote some YouTube notes with this the other day and it was just so good that I am no longer thinking about selling it at all. It's great. This is the Pilot Custom 743 in Verdigris. I talked about this also prior, that this was a very much an impulse buy, and I'm absolutely happy about it. I love this pen. It is very similar to the Custom 823 in size. The nibs are the same, but this is a cartridge converter pen, so it's much easier to clean. I have this inked with Diamine Safari, which is an ink that I also consider getting a bottle of someday. I talked about this in one of my videos where I talked about my inky experiments in 2024. So let me write, because I can't talk and write at the same time. You all know that. Pilot Custom 743 in verdigris with a medium 14 karat gold nib, Diamine Safari. This was also inked in October and it's still going strong. How much ink is left in here? Quite a bit. And so I'm just going to keep it inked until it tells me that it doesn't want to write anymore, or I'm sick of the color, which won't happen because this one is one that I really love and consider purchasing a bottle of. I have another similar ink, Troublemaker Hanging Rice, and what I think is, I'm really at this, not crossroads, but right now this is how I feel. Like I just want to be done with exploring colors. And I know that I would probably prefer this over Troublemaker Hanging Rice, but either I will sell or give away samples of Hanging Rice, and when this is empty, then I will replace that Hanging Rice with Diamine Safari. This is basically almost the same color, just with shimmer. This is another impulse purchase. This was my Christmas present for 2024. And well, that's how I justified the purchase. This is the Benu Talisman in collaboration with Gourmet Pens Dark Unicorn. I have to say that I'm a bit irritated by the blue transparent grip section. I think it doesn't really go with the rest of the pen body, but that's okay. I really like the pen. This is definitely an amazing color for a Benu. It will probably stay my only talisman because I prefer the Euphoria model. It's just so much more comfortable for me. This is not necessarily uncomfortable, but it's not as comfortable as the Euphoria. But again, I sold my first Benu talisman. Benu. Gourmet Pens. Let's write and then talk. Talisman. Dark Unicorn with a medium steel nib, and it is inked with Color Verse Brain. This is a shimmer ink. This pen handles shimmer ink amazingly well, and I guess in the grand scheme of rainbow colors, these needed to be swapped, but I didn't. I sold my first Benu Talisman because I didn't feel that it was super comfortable. But I'm currently, I wrote with this for an extended period of time, again, when I was writing a letter, and it felt really good. It's not as comfortable as the Benu Euphoria, for sure, for me. But it's comfortable enough so that I can enjoy this delicious design and color scheme. This is so cool. I just love this. Here's another one that I inked because I'm thinking of selling it. Yeah. I actually left a space for pens I am considering to let go. You can't see that right now. Here, this. I want to write with those pens a little snippet why I think I should let go of them, why I haven't yet, what is making me hesitate, just to see how the writing experience feels yet one more time, and how I'm feeling. Maybe it helps me decide to let it go or keep it, you know? And the reason why I'm thinking about letting this one go is because I really enjoy my Pro Gears. This is the King of Pen, the Sailor Pro Gear King of Pen. And I often feel like it doesn't bring more enjoyment to me than using the Pro Gears. Yeah, so I'm not sure if the enjoyment that I get out of this warrants keeping it, because I'm enjoying the other ones, sometimes even more. So I thought, let's ink it, let's use it again, let's see how I feel about it. And maybe if the nib is too broad, I could have it ground down a little or altered. This is a Sailor Pro Gear King of Pen in black with a broad. Maybe it's the broad nib that is doing this to me. It's a 21 karat gold nib. Oh, I haven't written it down either way. And the color that I used here is Lennon Toolbar Deep Mountain. And I'm not sure if it's the size of the nib. It's very bouncy. Sometimes I feel like maybe I can't control it, or I'm afraid to control it. And so I'm trying to figure out what makes me hesitate to keep it or let it go. I know exactly what makes me hesitate to let it go, because I got it for a really great price, and I don't think I'll get it in. If I ever want to replace it, if I let it go, I won't be able to get it for the same price. So yeah, but also then I think I shouldn't keep something, even if it was a good price, good deal for me when I originally got it, if it doesn't bring me all that much joy. I don't know. This is an ink that I just recently acquired, and it's amazing. This is a pen that I just recently acquired, and it's amazing too. This is the Sailor Pro Gear and Yoseka Stationery collaboration, Pro Gear Origin with a fine nib. So let's write this. Sailor Yoseka Gear Origin with a fine. This is a 21 karat gold nib. This was tuned by Greg Manushkin, and the ink that is in here is Pilot Iroshizuku Kujaku. Awesome, fabulous, fantastic color. This is a fine nib. I am surprised at how much I like using that nib. I think for sailors, I'm more of a medium type person, and I am considering swapping out the medium nib for this fine nib, but only after I've used it for a little bit to see if the fine nib being on this pen makes me gravitate towards using it less, if that makes sense. I have a medium nib on my Too Hot Habanero, which I like, but not as much as this. And so I would prefer to use this more than the other one. So I'm thinking of maybe just moving that nib over here. But I haven't used this specific fine nib enough to make that decision just yet. Let's move to the other side. This, and I think this ink, I don't really need to purchase this ink. I'll show you. This is my Benu Euphoria. This was my very first Benu pen ever. This is Anderillium Bandit King Shoemaker Butterfly Blue. And I think it's very, very similar to Pilot Iroshizuku Kujaku. And I think because I have a bottle of that ink, I don't need another bottle that is this ink because they're so similar. Which makes me pretty happy because I've been considering getting a bottle of this, but after getting this one, I don't think there is a necessity for that. So this is the Benu Euphoria. In jazz. And as I said, this was my very first Benu. It has currently a fine steel nib in there. I purchased it with a fine nib. The nib was a little bit scratchy at first, but I was able to get it to tune it myself, and since then it's been flowing really wet. It's been a joy to use. Anderillium Bandit King Shoemaker Butterfly Below. Yeah, so there's no need to purchase a bottle of this ink. This was my first one. I got it at a good deal, I think at Atlas Stationers. I think maybe this was actually my very first Atlas Stationers purchase. And I bought it because I thought it was the least sparkly pen of them, but that I still really loved the colorway of. And I've been considering selling this pen a few times because I might want to add another Benu Euphoria, but every time I look at it, I'm like, no, I still really like it. Even if it was one of those, oh, well, this is the cheapest and this is just to try a Benu Euphoria pen, this is the best bang for my buck. I still really enjoy the colorway and I don't really want to swap it out for another one, so I'm not. I also really like that this pen is so dark that the black grip section and cap band don't really interfere with the design of the pen. Some of the early models had a very, it was so, it was kind of an eyesore to have a black cap band and grip section for the rest of the pen design, and that isn't a thing with this. So I'm really excited about that. Then I have this. What is this? This is a Pilot Parallel pen in 3.8 millimeters that I actually eyedropper filled with an ink. The ink that I put in here is Vinta Lakbai, and it is a sample. that I purchased because I really, really love the way this ink looks. I think having a sample of this and not buying a full bottle is the way to go for me for this and for future winter inks. I've heard quite a few stories about winter ink evaporating through the bottles. If you had that problem, or if you have that problem, leave a comment down below. I would love to hear. So this is a Pilot parallel. Where's the double L here? 3.8 millimeters. And this is eyedroppered. I really like how this works. I just used some silicone grease on the threads, put in my ink, and it's good to go. Again, just with this one here, this Wankai Mini, I am planning on cleaning those out when the ink is empty. They will probably be inked for quite a long time. Meters, and this is Winter. Luck by. What I like about this ink is that the shimmer on it is pink. So it's blue, as you can see, or red. It's a blue, light blue ink with a red shimmer, and it's just amazing. It looks so good. The next one is a really, really sad story. This happened to me 2 days ago. I will show you what happened. I dropped it on the floor. It rolled off my standing desk. And I broke off the knob, the piston knob for the eyedropper pen. And so I'm not sure what is actually broken. I'm really hesitant to go in here and check. I will when this ink is empty. I'm just thinking of keeping this how it is, when and if it still works. If the piston knob doesn't push the, why is it not closing all the way? So far it doesn't seem like the ink would leak down here. I mean, that would have been a problem or an issue even if it was attached to this piston rod. If the only thing that now isn't functioning anymore is locking the ink chamber from the feed, then I guess this is still usable. So I will see what is happening with this pen. I reached out to to Opus 88 to see if I could purchase a new barrel for the pen. I have not heard back yet, but it's Christmas time. I don't know if Opus 88 celebrates Christmas, but let's just assume they do, or have some holidays around this time. And also, it's the weekend when I sent the email, so I don't think that I will be hearing back super early. I will keep you updated on how everything goes, what they say, if they can help me with this. This was definitely my own fault. You can see the ink that's splattered while when it fell right here. Previously, I had my radius nib that I purchased from John Neal Bookworks, possibly is the name of the shop. But I just couldn't really manage the nib well. It wasn't enjoyable, so I decided, you know what, let me just go big or go home. And so I put this 6.0 millimeters nib on here, and I'll show you how it writes. I didn't think I would love writing with it. as much as I do. Look how this looks. Isn't this fantastic? Ugh. Pilot parallel 6.0 millimeters in, let's write Opus 88 in big. Oh, there is the shimmer. This is a demonstrator, pink, and it's a 2024 special edition. And I'm so sad that I broke the piston knob, man. So this is Lennon toolbar. Ying Piao. And I really love, now that I have this in this broad nib, I like the ink. I got a sample from my friend Lorelei. I'm not buying a full bottle of this, but I really enjoy using it in this Opus 88 with the parallel nib. And just, I think I started talking about that earlier. I feel like for the Pilot parallels with shimmer ink, that is something that I would really love to just either get an ink vent with a lot of shimmer inks that I can swap around and use those, or if a shimmer sample stands out that I really want, that would be something that I purchase samples of or ask friends if they have samples. But yeah, but for me right now, I'm really happy with using bottled inks, and most of those are, this is a, well, no, I can count later what is a sample, what is a bottle, because of course in October I used a lot of samples because I did 31 inks, 31 pens, 31 letters for that. And so of course there's still some samples left, but every pen that I inked after that is using bottled ink. This is my Walltown What's in Sebastian with my Monarch medium nib, and I inked it with Walltown with a medium nib. Diamine Twilight is the ink that I inked it with. I've wanted to try this ink for a long time. However, I just went ahead when I purchased some inks from Van Ness. I just added the whole bottle. And it felt really dry, but maybe that's also the paper, because usually I don't think the Monarch nibs are dry, and I haven't heard about this ink to be dry that much yet. Next, man, so many pens. Next is my Waterman Karen with a medium nib. This is the gold, the black version of it. And I think I should have put this right over here. Now, what ink is this again? Oh yes, Birmingham Pen Company Cherry Blossom, I believe. This was a sample as well. From 31 inks, 31 days, 31 letters, 31 pens, 31 letters. Waterman. Karen, black with a medium nib. Birmingham Pen Company Cherry Blossom. If I'm looking at this ink right now, I'm like, man, maybe I should unink this. Let's see how much pen ink is left in this one. Not a lot. Maybe I'll just leave it and use it one more time for a letter, and then I'll clean it out and put something else in there. I really like the black shiny finish of this Waterman Karen. I know a lot of people love the amber finish, but I'm just so enamored by the single color, no chatoyance, watermelon currants. Perfect. All right. Next pen is the Benu Euphoria Atlas Stationers collaboration exclusive Gold Coast. It is inked with Van Diemen's Mad Half Hour. Benu Atlas Euphoria Gold Coast. This one has a broad nib and it is inked with Van Diemen's Mad Half Hour. This is a shimmer ink. I've heard quite a few people say that the shimmer doesn't really come out in the pen when they use it. Oh, there's not a lot of ink left, so I should probably just go ahead and use it in a letter and then clean it out. I really love this more wine color here. I always say that Raspberry Rose is like a lighter writer's blood, but I think this one is also really good, legible, not as dark writer's blood as this. This is like this, then writer's blood. So yeah, maybe I'll add this to my collection at some point. I don't know. Who knows? This one I'm just going to add one more time. There's not a lot of ink left. Well, maybe this much here. Yeah. This seems to have leaked. There's lots of purple right here, and I don't think that it looked like this before, but I also took it over the mountains, so this might be why that happened. I just can't get enough of this ink and pen. I also don't really know what other ink I would put in here. Maybe a teal. I do think I have a lot of blues inked right now. Well, I have a lot of colors inked, period. This is just such a great color ink. I was talking about earlier that there is so many bottles in here. That is not true. Now that I'm thinking about it, I have quite a few inks in samples in those pens. This is the Leonardo Momento Zero Grande in primary manipulation light with a medium titanium nib and an ebonite feed, and the ink is Kobe number 57 hydrangea. I just love this ink, man, so good. I totally need a bottle of this whenever it becomes available. Oh no, I was like, why do I have 3 nibs left when I only have 2 pens? Because I'm skipping this one. This is still inked with Waterman Tender Purple. This is my Pelikan M800 green demo with a fine nib. And man, this ink is great as well. Of course, I purchased a bottle of this ink. And I had my M800 with medium nib also inked with the same ink just to compare the flow. Because when I first inked it, I inked it with Diamond Walnut, which is really dry in that pen. So this is the Pelikan M800 green demo with a fine 18 karat gold nib Waterman, Tender Purple. This ink is amazing. This pen is amazing. I really, yeah, see, that's why I'm thinking of letting go of this pen, because I really enjoy the Pelikan M800s more than this. So I feel like maybe I should free up funds from this pen to either just add to my pen budget if another pen comes around that entices me more, or to pay for this one. This one is the Pelikan M800 that I just recently acquired, because when I use this, I feel excitement, just like when I use this. But I don't feel the same amount of excitement when I'm using the Sailor Pro Gear King of Pen. If you have both of them, an M800 and a Sailor King of Pen, which one do you prefer? I would love to hear your thoughts. So this is a Wankai Mini that I just recently purchased. And I think when I'm purchasing Wankai Minis, I will in the future just purchase transparent ones so I can see what ink is inside. I also purchased this 3.0 millimeter Pilot Parallel because I think it's the perfect size for Pilot Parallels. 2.4 is also really lovely, but this is good. And I inked it with Diamine Raise a Glass. This is a shimmer ink. I guess this one should have gone here and this one should have gone there. It doesn't matter. So, what did I write here? Wankai Mini. Transparent with a 3.0 millimeter parallel, and the ink is Diamine Raise a, no, that's wrong. All the Best. Sorry, I was lying. All the Best. I love the shimmer on this ink, but it doesn't look like there's a lot of shimmer in this fill here. I can't see any particulates that have settled. There's a tiny bit of shimmer here, but it's not a lot. So maybe I need to swap some ink around so I can get the shimmer, but this has also some gold sheen. It's really lovely. And these pens are really wet too. So yeah, I am very, very enamored with these Pilot Parallels in the Wankai Mini. I think that's the perfect solution for this. And then the last pen that I have inked, this is another one of the October pens, is the Sailor Pro Gear Imperial Black. And I have inked this one with Scribo Grigio, which is a lovely ink. The colors that are in here, the blue, oh, so lovely. Now I'm just needing to use them. Sailor, the pens, Pro Gear, Imperial Black, medium nib, so lovely, sorry. And then ink is Scribo Grigio. 20 pens is a lot to talk about. I hope you are still here. I'm so sorry it took such a long time. I think my goal for the new year is to just write some of these pens dry, clean them out, reduce the amount of pens that I have inked, even though I don't feel anxious about the amount I have. It's just really hard to use them all at the same time. And so, you know, having a smaller rainbow will be fun and still good. And let me know what you think. Let me know your thoughts on all the pens that I'm using. Have you tried the Pilot Parallel in the 1K Mini? Yeah, I think that's it. Thank you so much for watching. I really love talking about pens and inks, as you might notice from watching my videos. I hope to see you again soon. If I don't see you again before the new year, I hope you have a great start to 2025. Until next time, bye.